Hi there, welcome to Two Birds. I'm Fiona, and today's class is a 60-minute Vinyasa flow designed to help mobilize and lubricate the muscles in and around your low back, your hips, hamstrings, and also fire up your abdominal core. So class starts really quite slow, so you can linger in some of the stretches, and then we start to build some heat in the standing poses. And then at the end of the class, we return to some of the postures so you can really check in and see how much more open and spacious you feel. I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for joining. Namaste. And begin your practice laying down on your back. Gather the knees in toward your chest, let your head rest back. And with your knees quite wide there, rock side to side, massage into your low back spine, back of the sacrum and your buttocks. And rock your way back to center and place your left foot on the floor, knee bent. And start to slowly extend your right heel up toward the ceiling. You might like to keep a little micro bend in your right knee. Hands interlace behind the back of your right leg. Supta Padangustasana. Kicking up through your right heel and sensing your hips level and balance there. Just really slowly start to work towards straightening your right leg. Pushing your leg into your hands, resisting with your hands. Smooth breath in, smooth breath out. Keeping the right leg raised. Go ahead, straighten your left leg out along the mat. Flex your left toes and press the back of your left leg strongly into the mat, so you're scissoring the legs away from one another. And staying relaxed in the jaw and the throat. Front of the shoulders, just relaxing down toward the support of the mat behind you. Deep breath in. As you exhale, bend your right knee and find a reclined tree pose, taking your right foot to the inner seam of your left leg. Letting your right knee float out to the side and just reach your arms overhead here and reach out, kick out to the edge of your left heel, creating a trough in the low back spine, just stretching out through the body. Deep breath in here. As you exhale, make your way into a twist, taking your right knee over to your left, rolling onto your left side hip. Slide the arms down to shoulder height. And then once you've found your twist and comfortable shape, take your left hand to the top of your right knee. And it might feel nice to bend the right elbow, palm face up. So you take a cactus shape through the right arm. Rolling on the back of your head, completing your twist, gazing out over your right shoulder. No need to force your twist here. Just stay really comfortable and focus on breathing deeply into the right side rib cage, all the way up to your armpit. And releasing, roll all the way over onto your left hip and bend the left elbow so you can support your head into the hammock of your hand. Bending your left knee so your left toes point behind you. Raise the right leg. And now point the right toes down toward the floor so you're internally rotating your right leg. And from here we bend the right knee, tap the right knee forward in front of you to the floor. And then take your right leg back behind you, beyond your midline. Point the right toes, and so you get a nice deep stretch through the front of your right hip flexors. Raise the right leg up nice and high, pointing the toes down. And repeat, tap the right knee forward, send the right leg back, raise the right leg, and repeat. So just stay with that sequence and now focus on engaging your abdominal core to help support you and the movement, and try to reduce the sway through your torso, and your right fingertips in front of you might help there. Next time your right leg is lifted, keep it there and flex your right toes. And then from here, just lowering your right leg and lifting the right leg, and we'll bring some warmth into your outer right hip. Try and slow your movement down so you're not relying on momentum. You're using the strength of your legs, your hips, and your abdominal core. Last few here. And next time your right leg is raised, hold it there, keep flexing the toes and take some little pulses. Try and raise the right leg just a little bit more as you pulse. Warming the thigh muscles, the outer hips, base of the glutes. Last few. And release. Bend your right knee, stack the knees and roll back onto your back. Center yourself back in the middle of the mat. Take your right foot to the floor and extend your left leg now up toward the ceiling. Perhaps keeping a little micro bend in your left knee as you start to warm up. Hands interlaced either behind your hamstrings, or you might be a little bit more flexible up around the back of the calf. Try and keep your upper body relaxed and resting on the mat. And just take a nice few deep breaths here, breathing into the back seam of your leg. Holding your left leg raised, work towards straightening your right leg now, pressing the right leg into the floor, flexing your right toes, scissoring the legs away from one another. And just finding that perfect shape here so your breath feels uninterrupted, smooth, and it's just starting to find its gentle rhythm to support your practice. Your reclined tree now, rebend your left knee and left foot sits to the inner seam of your right leg, arms overhead. Deep breath in through your full body, stretch out through your right heel, reach up and over with the fingertips. And then make your way into your twist, left knee over to your right, arms slide down to shoulder height. Once you've found your twist, right hand can sit on the top of your left knee there. And you're all the way over on the pinky toe side of your extended leg. Left arm can cactus here, just finding a shape that makes sense in your body, one where you can breathe smoothly into the left side of your rib cage, all the way up to your left armpit. We'll take one more deep breath in here, and then roll all the way over onto your right hip, facing the long edge of your mat. Prop yourself up on your right hand. Take your left fingertips in front of you and bend your right knee now behind. Raise the left leg, turning your left toes down toward the floor, and we'll start that low back sequence. So just tapping your left knee in front of you, reaching the left leg straight and back behind you beyond your midline. Raise the left leg, pointing the left toes down, and repeat. Left knee bends, taps, extend back, raise the left leg up. Nice slow, controlled, equal movement to your breath. So if you're ever feeling quite tight in the low back, this is a really wonderful sequence for just mobilizing all the muscles in and around your low back spine to help give you a little bit more mobility. Next time your left leg is raised, keep it up there and flex your toes. So left leg fully engaged, and then lower the left leg, tap it down and lift. I'm trying to minimize the sway and movement in your upper body here. And last few. Keeping your left leg raised, toes flexed, little pulses. Bring some warmth to your left hip now and your left thigh. Balance out left to right side. Last few. And rest. Bend both knees, stack the knees and roll back onto your back. And shuffle around, maybe down the mat if you've crept up your mat. And go ahead, tuck the knees in toward your chest. Next sequence, you can keep your head resting if you like here. We're just continuing to warm up the low back spine. If you'd like to add a little bit more core engagement, raise your head and neck and shoulders up off the floor. And then on an in-breath, reach the arms out wide to the side, send your legs away to about 45 degrees. And as you exhale, draw the knees in, maybe a light hop to the buttocks. And then just stay with that movement, breathing in as you extend, exhaling as you draw your knees in. And really feel that is massaging the low back, sacrum area, moving at any pace that feels right for you. Last few here. And then tuck the knees in. And if your head has been resting back, just lift up now so you're in a tight little ball. Cross at your ankles and catch a hold of your feet. We're going to take 3 rock and rolls. Come up all the way up and over your legs and set yourself up kneeling at the back of your mat. And then sitting your buttocks down on your heels with your knees folded underneath you. Take your hands, interlace all your fingers into a knot at your heart center. Lifting up tall, elegantly long through the spine. Deep breath in. Exhale, draw your fists away, round your spine, nod your chin in toward your chest. As you breathe in, send your arms up overhead, turning your hands inside out, little arch in the spine, stretch up. On your exhale, hands behind the back and interweave all your fingers. Deep breath in, shoulder blades draw together in your upper back, heart lifts. As you exhale, forward fold any amount, floating your arms away from your back in your comfortable range of motion. So the front of the shoulder heads lift up away from the mat. You just bow in toward the mat. And then slowly, as you rise, release your hands and lift your hips up above your knees. Reach your arms toward the sky. As you exhale, come down, place yourself down onto all fours, setting the hands up underneath the shoulders, fingers spread, knees underneath your hips. Take a deep breath in, drop your belly, lift and open your chest, send the gaze up. As you breathe out, curl back in the opposite direction, doming your spine, hugging your belly in and up. One more round in each direction there, breathing in, lengthening through the front of your spine, all the way up into the neck, the throat. Slow round to the spine, tucking the tailbone, hollowing your belly. And then come back to a neutral spine on your in-breath. Keeping the hips balanced over your knees, walk your arms forward, your hands, and take your hands a little wider than your shoulders, setting up for Anahatanasana, heart opening pose. You slowly start to melt your chest, your forehead down toward the floor. And with your arms extended and overhead, they'll naturally rotate outwards so the shoulder blades widen in your upper back. And with this extension, it's easy to bunch up around your shoulders. So see if you can just soften around the back of your neck so your traps soften down. Point the sit bones high toward the ceiling at that long length through the sides of the waist, through the reach of your arms. Deep breath in here. Exhale, walking your hands back, come onto all fours again. One more round, cat and cow, mobilizing the spine, gently arching, tailbone up, gaze up. Exhale, rounding, spreading the architecture of your back. Come back to neutral spine there. And then drop your buttocks down to your heels, keeping your arms reaching forward, child's pose. So we just keep that extension, elongation through the spine and helping to create length with a full breath up and down the length of your spine. And this is your rest pose if you need to take a break or do less at any time during the class. Return here, join back in the flow whenever you're ready. Gliding up onto all fours as you breathe in and taking your first downward facing dog as you breathe out. Toes tuck, hips lift, keeping a little bend in the knees there. And really anchor your hands down here, spreading the fingers, pressing down into the base knuckles of all your fingers. Feel your arm bones lengthening. Feel the crown of your head relaxing toward the floor. You might like to pedal out through your heels here and just stretch into the back of your legs. And keep your movements slow and easeful. And then step your toes together at the back of your mat. Raise your right leg up and back as you breathe in. As you breathe out, step your right foot forward in between the hands to set up for lizard pose. Dropping your left knee to the floor, walking your right foot out to the right lane and hands to the inside of your right foot. And just check in, make sure your right knee's positioned over your ankle. You've got a diagonal line from your left hip down to your left knee. Stay on your hands here unless you're super flexible. And you can come onto your forearms here for a deeper stretch, more sensation. Hugging your right knee to your upper arm. You might like to take just a little bit of movement here. A rock forward and back, or simply some circles through the hip. And then making your way back to center, reframe your right foot there, raise your left knee and walk all the way over to your left foot to set up for crab. And we're going to keep both soles of the feet on the floor, a light bend in your left knee, your right leg straight, outer edge of your right foot on the mat. And try and extend your heart forward here and your buttocks back. So you're really lengthening through your spine. Just walk yourself over to your right foot, do the same. Extend out and straighten the left leg. And then lifting yourself up, walk all the way around to face the back of your mat to take lizard on the opposite side. So your right knee is going to drop to the floor, left foot walks out laterally to your left, hands on the inside of your left foot. Left knee hugs your upper left arm, and any movement that feels good here, little circles or a rock, forward and back. And just check in with your alignment in this orientation, left knee over the ankle. And then go ahead, reframe your left foot there, pick up your right knee and walk a quarter turn around to your right, so you're facing the long edge of your mat for spread leg forward fold, Prasarita. Angle your heels out, your big toes in, so they're slightly pigeon-toed and the toes line up. Fingertips underneath your shoulders. Take a deep breath in, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, forward fold here. And just as we're starting our practice, keep it easy. No need to overstretch or touch down there with the crown of your head. You can catch opposite elbows and dangle your spine in between your wide legs. Do keep your thigh muscles fully engaged here, and a light forward tip from your heels to your toes. And take 3 full deep breaths. Releasing your hands to the floor, a halfway lift, breathe in. As you exhale, walk around to your right foot there, frame your foot and lightly step forward to the top edge of your mat. When you arrive, straight legs, flat back, Uttanasana, halfway lift. On your exhale, soft bend in the knees, forward fold over your legs. Slow rise to stand, pushing down through your feet, reaching your arms out and up. As you breathe out, rest your hands to your heart center. Surya Namaskar C to continue to warm up the hips, particularly the hip flexors here. We'll move, one movement, one breath. Deep breath in, sweep your arms overhead, send the gaze up. Exhale, swan dive forward over your legs, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, looking forward, chest forward. Exhale, fingertips down, right leg lunging back, right knee to the floor. When you're steady, reach your arms alongside your ears, lift your heart. Exhale, hands to the floor, stepping back, plank pose. Deep breath in, gaze forward, strong arms, long body. Exhale, knees, chest and chin all the way down to the floor. First back bend, keep it low, elbows tucking in, scoop your heart forward and up. Exhale, strong core, roll on the knees, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, slow breath out. One more full cycle of breath. Next breath in, raise your right leg up and back. Exhale, step up in between your hands, left knee to the floor. Reach your arms when you're steady, let your hips lean forward. Exhale, fingertips to frame your right foot, stepping forward, top edge of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Rise to stand on your in-breath. Rest your hands to your heart on your out-breath. Second round, left side, arms sweep out and overhead. Dive forward on your out-breath. Soft bend in the knees there. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, left foot lunging back, left knee to the floor. Reach the arms when you're steady. Hands to the floor, plank pose, stepping back quietly. Deep breath in your plank, heels reach back. Exhale, knees, chest and chin to the floor. Spread your fingers, bring your heart, your ribs forward, Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Exhale, firm belly, roll on the knees, downward facing dog. Full cycle of breath. When you're ready, left leg rising on your in-breath. Lightly step your left foot up in between your hands, right knee to the floor. Low lunge, arms rise, breathe in. Hands to the floor, stepping up, toes touch. Ardha Uttanasana, your halfway lift. Forward fold on your out-breath. Rise all the way to stand on your in-breath, gaze up to the tip of your thumbs. Exhale, hands to your heart. And then just shift your hands to your hips and widen your feet about hip distance apart here. Keeping your hands on your hips just for now, bend the knees and come into chair legs. So sit your buttocks back, bring your weight back into your heels. And keep your heart lifting. And we're going to take a standing hip groin stretch. Transfer your weight into the sole of your right foot and take your left ankle and cross it over the top of your right thigh, flexing at the left toes. And then sit down just a little lower so your buttocks move back in space. And balance that out as you bring your heart forward, keeping the collarbones fanning out. From here you might like to take your hands to your heart if you're feeling steady. Or take your arms alongside your ears, taking that chair shape on one foot. Keep sending the hips back and dropping your buttocks down so you get that nice deep outer hip stretch through the glutes and the base of the glutes. We're going to continue to balance. If you can, stay on your right foot. Slowly rise up, bringing the left knee in toward your chest. And arms can shift out wide to the side for balance here, stepping back for a high lunge. Try and land on the balls of your left toes there. Take a long enough stride so your right knee is balanced right over your right ankle. Reach the arms alongside your ears when you're steady. And just notice if you have a large sway in your low back spine. Place a little bend in your back knee and draw the front of the pelvis in and up. So you zip up through the midsection, your abdominal core. And then brighten your chest a little higher as if you're lifting your sternum up toward your collarbones. Reach the arms all the way to the edge of your fingers. And taking your right hand here to your left wrist, we'll take a lateral stretch. And keeping arms nice and straight, just gently tip over any amount to your right side. You don't want to overdo it there, but you're accessing a stretch down the front of your left hip. And keep your head positioned equally between your arms and just breathe nice and easily, smooth and steady. Breathing in, make your way back to center, and then opening out into Warrior Two. Land your left heel down, point your right kneecaps forward, right toes forward, arms level with the floor. Breathe deeply in and out and just find a comfortable shape here. Torso straight up and down. Nice measure of that is armpits balanced over your hips. Your wrists over your ankles. Gaze is softly forward out over your right middle finger, your dristi. And keeping the legs where they are. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Sweep your right arm up and back. Send the gaze back to your left foot. And then as you breathe out, windmill both hands to the floor and we'll take a flow. Stepping back to your high push-up. Legs strong here. Either a full push-up or drop your knees and modify chest forward through the arms to the floor. Taking your back bend on your in-breath and really savor your breath there. Take your time, unhurried, roll back, downward facing dog. 3 smooth breaths in and out. And one more deep breath in, gaze forward between your hands. End of your exhale, step or lightly float to the top edge of your mat. When you arrive at Ardha Uttanasana, your halfway lift, straight legs, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Rise on your in-breath all the way to stand. Reach the arms tall. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Hands to the hips then, and toe heel your feet apart, so you're about hip width apart there. And just sit down and back, so your knees bend, you come into a standing squat. Weight drifts back into your heels there, so your toes are a little light and fluffy. And then zip up through the abdominal core. From here we balance on our left foot and take our right ankle to the top of our left thigh, flexing our right toes to keep our knee safe. And then go for a feeling or a sensation through your outer right hip, and you might need to just sit down a little deeper to find that sensation. Hands to your heart if you're feeling steady, arms alongside your ears if you'd like to add on. So you get that nice length through your spine and warmth in your legs. Keep your right toes flexed there and keep breathing. And do your best to continue to balance, balancing on your left foot. Stand tall, right knee in toward your chest. Arms out wide for balance and stepping back into your high lunge. When your right foot lands, perhaps wriggle it back so you get that longer, deeper stride, and you can experiment with a bend in the back knee, your right knee, just to level out through your pelvis. Arms reach up alongside your ears. You've got that full extension from your hips to your ribs, ribs to the armpits, and then all the way up to the edge of your fingers. You're breathing brightly, widely, and through the length of your lungs. And then from here, you're going to take the left hand to your right wrist, keeping the arms straight, your elbows straight. Take your side bend to your left, any amount. So try and keep the chest lifting, almost like you're rotating your chest up toward your right side. And then coming back to center and transitioning into Warrior Two. Land your right heel down and open your torso to your right. Arms float down to the height of your shoulders, and see if you can just find a nice soft energy around the back of your neck there. Your arms feel fully engaged. Lunge just a little deeper, keeping the eyes of your front kneecap pointing forward, toes at 12 o'clock. Next breath in, keep the legs where they are. Reverse your warrior, reach up and back, left side, lateral stretch. And then windmill both hands to the floor frame, your front foot. Stepping back through a flow to your high push-up. Bring your chest forward as you lower either knees or full push-up. Elbows brush the side ribs. Upward dog or cobra. Savoring your in-breath. And exhale, downward facing dog. No rush, unhurried breath. 3 full cycles of breath. And then just gently dropping the knees to the floor, a short pause, buttocks to the heels, child's pose. Keep your arms reaching forward, your fingers spread and your hands shoulder width apart. And then just slowly glide up and drop your forearms down on the floor, and making sure that they are shoulder width apart. There's a gap between your thumbs. And then tucking your toes, raising your knees, come into dolphin prep. So you've got that shape of downward dog in your body on your forearms. And rather than look forward, try and release through all sides of your neck so the crown of your head points down and it's hovering just above the floor. Sometimes it makes it more accessible to bend the knees, so you can just experiment with that. Try keep pointing the sit bones up toward the ceiling, and then push actively down through your forearms. So you have that upward energy, rebounding energy through the arms. Upper back feels really broad and wide. And with a light bend in your knees, send your gaze forward and spring to a plank pose. You're straightening your elbows, you're shifting your weight forward, shoulders come over the wrists, and then take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Spread all your fingers and re-anchor your hands into the floor. Roll forward to a high push-up and pause here for some mountain climbers. So really pushing into the hands, broadening across your chest, making as much space as you can from the floor to your chest. Reach back through your heels. Firm in the belly. Take your right knee in toward your chest, squeeze in, step back, and then left knee in and step back. And then pick up the pace. Try not to run. We'll minimize the bouncing. Just get nice, slow, controlled movement. And a little bit more of a rapid fire exhale as you bring the knee in. So you're really engaging your abdominal core. Last few here. 2 straight legs, hips up and back, downward facing dog. And we'll keep it rolling, right leg lifting as you breathe in, down dog splits. And we're going to step forward into reverse warrior, right foot up in between your hands, anchor your left heel down, make sure you get a nice long stride, rise up, take the left hand down, the left leg, reach the right arm up and back. And then on your out breath, unsupported side angle, sweep your right arm across your body, left arm forward and overhead. Keep the legs supporting you strong through the core. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reach up and back. Left arm comes forward, right arm back. And then reverse that. And we'll just sway between the two. Keep your left leg super active, straight and strong. And then we mill both hands to the floor. Frame your right foot out and turn a quarter turn to your left. Coming into spread leg forward fold once more. Coming onto the fingertips, straight legs, heels out, toes in, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, perhaps coming down just a little deeper. Now you're a little warmer through the legs. And if you need to modify, come back to catching your elbows and draping yourself down in between your wide legs. Pushing actively down through your feet. Tipping your weight lightly forward from your heels to your toes. So we're going to do that whole sequence on the opposite side, but we'll face the back of our mats. So just tune in, it's the same sequence. Lifting up halfway. Go ahead, walk around to your left so you face the back of your mat. And step back for your plank pose. Hold here, nice and strong, long in the body, without TPing your buttocks up toward the ceiling there. Nice and parallel. Mountain climbers here, move slow. Knee in toward your chest, rapid fire exhale and step back. So it's a nice audible exhale as if you're breathing out quite strongly and feeling your abs engage here. And last few, stay with me. 2 straight legs, plank pose, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Left leg rising, down dog splits. Breathe in. Left foot forward in between your hands, reverse warrior. Anchor your right heel down now, come all the way up, reach up, sweep back. And then unsupported side angle. So left arm sweeps across your body, right arm up and over. And if that doesn't work for you, just find a shape that does work for you as you sway between the two. We're working our abdominal core and our legs, lower body work here. Try and keep easeful, relaxed in your upper body as you move. And when it feels right, on your exhale, we mill both hands to the floor and frame out your front foot. We'll take a vinyasa from here, stepping back quietly, high push-up, still facing the back of your mat, low push-up as you breathe out. Upward dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. 3 smooth breaths. Left leg rising as you breathe in. Step your left foot forward in between your hands. And then walk all the way around to the front edge of your mat. Back to the start. And step forward to the top edge of your mat. Bring your toes together. Halfway lift, breathe in. Folding forward, Uttanasana, breathing out. Rise all the way to stand. Reach tall, stretch your whole body out now. And as you exhale, hands to your heart center. From here, widen your feet to the edges of your mat, away from one another. Turn your big toes out. Angle your heels in, preparing for squat. Reach the arms, circle them up and overhead. Exhale, press your palms and just slowly start to sit down between your legs. And you might find that you pause halfway, resting your forearms on your knees for your squat. Might be able to come all the way down into Malasana. Heels can lift or feel grounded. And with your elbows on the inner knees there, just gently resist with the knees so you have this hugging in action and a light stretch from the groins to the inner knees. Then lift taller through your spine. Lift out of your low back spine to the back of your skull. And gently release. Fingers to the floor. And we'll all meet up here. If you're a half squat or a full squat, we are with control. Lowering down onto our buttocks to prepare for boat pose Navasana. Finding the soft part of your buttocks off your sit bones. Raise the legs. And take your hands behind the back of your knees. Reset if you need to with your feet on the floor so you feel comfortable through your sacrum. And then find your optimal shape there. You want to feel really lifted and tall through the front of your spine. Make as much space between your navel and the base of your throat. Reach the arms alongside your calves. If you're feeling steady, and take one more deep breath in. Exhale, feet to the floor, and make a wide tent underneath your knees there. So walk your feet away a little. Feet can be about hip width apart. Notch your fingers into a fist there at your heart center, and we'll just sway our fists over to the left side, maybe touching the fists down, and then sway up and over to your right side for Russian twists. Gently working the oblique muscles here. And try and keep your form through your spine so you stay very upright. And try and twist around as much as you can, dropping the fists down toward the floor or to a hover. Last few. And back to center. And crossing your legs here, walking over your legs and stepping back through a vinyasa, stepping back to your plank pose, lower slow, upward dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. On your in-breath, float forward to a high push-up, back to our mountain climbers. Don't switch off yet. Last little push before a nice big rest. Keep your hands fully grounded here, and this time take your right knee to your upper outer right arm. Step back, and then left knee to your upper left arm. And then pick up the pace or keep it nice and slow. Remember your rapid fire exhales. Each time you breathe out, you can feel the lower ribs close a little closer toward your hips. Abs engaged. Last few. And 2 straight legs, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Raise your right leg up and back. As you exhale, pigeon pose on your right side, right knee to the back of your right hand. And slowly lower down. So finding the most comfortable external rotation in your right leg. And that may mean that your right heel is quite close in toward your pelvis, but your right knee is still on a diagonal. Those of you a little bit more open in the hips, your shin may be able to come more parallel with the front edge of the mat, but try not to overdo it here. It's important to keep the hips level and your knee safe. So we flex our right toes and try and get the feeling you're lifting your outer right ankle up away from the floor. So it's quite active there, and then walk your fingertips forward, perhaps resting on your forearms or reaching your arms all the way forward. Left leg's extended back, it's straight, left hip rolling down toward the floor. And enjoy this lovely, deep, satisfying hip stretch for your glutes and your inner right thigh. We'll take 5 more smooth breaths. And gaze forward between your hands, walking your hands back toward you and gently pushing back into downward facing dog. Last round for your core, shifting forward to high push-up. Make sure you really feel steady, strong in the arms, straight arms, shoulders over the wrists, and your mountain climbers taking your knee to the outside of your upper arms and switching, alternating left to right. Audible exhale. Firming the belly, make it count and keep your body parallel with the floor. Last few, you've got this. 2 straight legs, hips up and back, left leg rising, down dog splits, and then pigeon pose, left knee to the back of your left hand, crossing your shin in front of you. And just note how you feel on your left side here versus the right side. You might need to make subtle adjustments to find an optimal stretch for your body, and we're not always symmetrical in our body, particularly our hips. So really just moving yourself mindfully into the pose, feeling for your hips level, walking the hands forward and resting. Notice if you can relax around the shoulders a little bit more, your neck and your jaw. And gazing forward on your in-breath and walking your hands back toward you and stepping quietly back to downward facing dog. Last downward facing dog for the class there, perhaps taking a longer stride, spreading the fingers, elongating the whole back seam of your body. And then lightly touching down, knees to the floor, sweep your feet around in front of you and come to lay on your back, tucking the knees in toward your chest, back to where we started, and we'll just repeat part of the sequence we did at the start of the class to just check in and notice if you feel any more open and warmed around the hips and the legs. So you're going to keep the right knee in, take the left foot to the floor, and then extend your right heel up toward the ceiling. Supta Padangustasana, big toe pose, reclined. Hands interlaced behind the back of your right leg there, keeping your upper body relaxed and resting on the floor. And just notice how you feel through the back of your leg now. You might like to extend your left leg out straight, scissor the legs away from one another. And then just slowly make your way into your reclined tree. Left leg stays straight, right knee bends, right foot to your inner left leg, reach the arms overhead, reach out to the edge of your left heel, and then make your way into a twist. Right knee across your body to the left, arms reaching out, perhaps cactusing the arms or keeping them extended now. And then gently rolling back to center. Left knee in toward your chest, right foot to the floor, knee bent, left heel up toward the ceiling. Set yourself up on this side. Pay attention to your hips and the back of your hips here so you feel level and balanced. And perhaps extending your right leg out straight now. Keeping both toes flexed so your legs are actively engaged, moving away from one another. And then go ahead, rebend your left knee and find reclined tree pose. Left foot anywhere on the inseam of your right leg, arms overhead. Stretch away with your right heel. And as you breathe out, make your way into your twist, left knee over to your right. Any comfortable position with your arms there, just as long as you're not forcing or pulling yourself into your twist. It'll help to roll onto the little toe side of your right foot, right hip. And try and soften your left shoulder down, left shoulder blade toward the floor. And one more deep breath in. Exhale back to center. Knees in and cross at your ankles. Catch a hold of your feet. We're going to take a rock and roll up to a seated cross-legged position. Just roll through your spine. Catch a little bit of momentum as you go and then roll all the way up. And with your legs, just cross at the shins. Reach the arms up alongside your ears so you sit really tall. Emphasize length through the front of your spine as you fold forward, walk your hands forward. And if you're a little tighter in the hips, fingers a little wider, stay a little bit more upright. Just avoid pulling on your low back spine. And keeping your toes flexed, your sit bones anchored. Bow in. Gently walking your hands back toward you to reset, recrossing the legs, opposite shin in front, toes flexed. Comfortable on your sit bones, wriggle out a little bit there and reach the arms up alongside your ears as you breathe in. And forward fold, any amount over your crossed legs. Softening the effort in your breath. Directing yourself toward rest. And really slowly walk yourself back. And you may wish to sit here comfortably for seated meditation. We may like to rest back in Shavasana here. Just gathering any props, any extra layers that'll help you feel more comfortable and at ease as you rest. Soak in the essence of your practice. If you're laying down on your back, just letting your feet fall wide and out to the side, your palms face up alongside your body. And arrange yourself so you feel like you're in a straight line, so your muscles and bones can relax in a symmetrical way. If you're sitting upright, ideally on the edge of a blanket or a cushion there, to allow your pelvis to tilt forward and your legs to relax below the hips. And gently close your eyes, and I'll just talk you through a very brief breathing visualization, and then allow you to rest. We've got about 6 minutes here. making any final adjustments, and settle yourself into stillness. Keeping your breath nice and relaxed, breathe in through your nose toward the crown of your head. Empty your breath down toward your throat. Breathe in from this space toward the top of your head. Breathe out and down toward your chest. Inhale from your chest to the crown of your head. As you exhale, let your breath fall to your belly. Breathe in from your belly to the top of your head. Breathe out toward your pelvis, your buttocks. Breathe in to the top of your head. Breathe out, let your breath fall all the way down your body to the edge of your toes. Full body breath from the toes to the crown of your head. Exhale, soften your whole body, relax, empty your breath. Relaxing all your effort and resting here for the next few minutes. And very gradually drifting back, landing back in your body. Take the next minute or so to gently stretch out and breathe a brighter breath. Wriggling the fingers and the toes. Savouring these last moments of rest. You're just bending your knees, rolling out to your right side. Take a few moments there to blink the eyes open and adjust to the light in your room. And just slowly rise up, drag yourself all the way back up. Namaste, yogis.